Hey there. Welcome to CyberPulse by Quantum Shield, the podcast where we make cybersecurity less intimidating and a lot more exciting. Every episode, we're diving into the latest digital drama, from sneaky hackers to the coolest defense strategies, all while sharing tips you can actually use. So grab a coffee, get comfy, and let's navigate this crazy digital world together.
Hey everyone, welcome back. Ready to dive into another juicy topic. Today, we're tackling something that might sound a little dry at first. Vendor risk assessment.
Not the most exciting title, I'll grant you that.
But hold on. Before you hit that skip button, trust me, this one's important. We're talking about protecting your business at its core.
Absolutely, because these days, who isn't relying on a whole bunch of third-party vendors to keep things running? And all those vendors, they're like open windows if you're not careful.
Exactly. It's like you wouldn't give your house keys to a complete stranger without doing a little background check, right? Yeah. This is the same idea, but for your data, your systems, all that precious stuff.
And the stakes are higher than ever these days, right?
Right. And that's where this deep dive comes in. We're digging into a source that really breaks down how to assess the security posture of those vendors you rely on.
Because how do you know who you can trust? Well, this source walks us through a very practical three-step process.
3 steps. Okay, I'm intrigued. Hit me.
It's all about questionnaires, certifications, and then the big one, audits.
Yeah. Okay, so let's start with those questionnaires. We've all been there, right? You're excited about a new vendor, and bam, they hit you with this massive security questionnaire.
The page is long sometimes.
Exactly. It can feel a bit overwhelming.
Sure, but it's really their way of showing you up front, hey, we take security seriously. Think of it like a first date. You're just trying to get a basic sense of their security hygiene.
Okay, so you're feeling pretty good. They've aced the questionnaire, but how do you know they're not just, like, ticking boxes?
Certifications. That's your next level of confidence. Think of it like checking for a security guard's badge. They've been independently verified.
So we're talking things like SOC 2 and ISO 27001.
Exactly. Those are the gold standards. And it's worth knowing the difference. SOC 2, that one's specifically designed for service providers, especially those storing your data in the cloud. ISO 27001 is broader, looking at the company's entire information security management system.
So those certifications give you a good sense of their overall security practices.
Right. But then we get to the real deal, audits.
The deep dive.
Exactly. We're not just glancing at a badge here. Audits are about rolling up your sleeves and digging into their actual practices. How do they handle security incidents? What's their track record like?
Do they really walk the walk?
Exactly.
This is all super important, but here's a thought, and maybe this is where things get really interesting. Do we need to put every single vendor through the same level of scrutiny?
That's a great question, and it's where this idea of risk tiering comes into play, which our source talks about quite a bit.
Risk tiering.
It's about being strategic with your resources. You don't need to put your food delivery app through the same rigorous process as, say, the company that handles your payroll.
Right, because the potential impact if something goes wrong, it's totally different.
Exactly. One wrong ingredient in your burrito bowl is one thing. Having your employees' social security numbers leaked, that's a whole other level of disaster.
So how do we figure out who needs what level of assessment?
Well, the source suggests considering 2 main factors. First, what kind of access does the vendor have to your sensitive data? And second, what would the impact be on your business operations if something went wrong with that vendor?
Okay, so a payroll company, that's a no-brainer. High impact. The food delivery app, not so much.
Right. So for a low-risk vendor, maybe a questionnaire and some basic certification checks are enough. But for those high-risk ones, those with access to the crown jewels, you want the whole 9 yards. Questionnaires, certifications, audits, the works.
This is all gold. So to sum it up for everyone listening, vendor risk assessment, it's not just a checkbox exercise.
It's about protecting yourself.
Wow. And it can actually be, dare I say, kind of interesting.
In a nerdy way, sure. But here's the thing. You don't have to wait to get started. Think about just 1 or 2 vendors you interact with all the time. Head over to their website and take a look around.
Do they even have a security page?
That in itself can tell you a lot. And if they don't, maybe it's time to ask yourself, is this really who I want to trust with my business?
Great point to end on. Until next time.
Thanks for hanging out with us on CyberPulse. Remember, cybersecurity doesn't have to be scary. It's all about staying sharp and a little bit savvy. Keep learning, stay curious, and don't let those cyber gremlins get you down. Catch you next time, and until then, stay safe, stay smart, and keep crushing it online.